Help me understand this. We're sending money, billions of dollars, to fight wars that are thousands of miles away. All the while, we have a border open that's causing a crisis. Not only that, we have warships that are not ours with nuclear capabilities 25 miles off the coast of Florida. So is it wise to send our money and weaponry over there? Or is it wise to keep it at home? It's amazing we are locking up an opposition candidate that used to be a president for something so small, literally, quote unquote, trumped up charges. As news stories break that this president has received millions, and we'll talk about the numbers from what foreign countries. And it's amazing how back in the time of the Depression and World War II, the government wanted you to raise your own food. They wanted you to raise your own eggs and milk and dairy, and how you could help your neighbors grow a garden. They were called victory gardens. But now, they're targeting your garden. They're targeting your chickens because they're saying that you will be the cause of the new flu outbreak. Let's talk about these three headlines today because they are all crazy. I would consider them oxymoronic. We do one thing and then we do another. Then we say one thing and then we do another. Then we represent one thing and then we represent another. Let's jump into it today.
I see it in your eyes. Yeah, I can read the signs.
Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. We are still being suppressed. We are still losing thousands of subscribers and views each and every week. So we hope that if you like this content, we humbly ask you to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost anything, but it does mean the world to me. Now let's talk about these stories today, because again, our goal is to be wise, have a common sense approach, and try to understand and navigate this crazy world that we live in and raise our families while doing it. Now, three stories. The first one, Russia has nuclear capabilities and nuclear ships, testing missiles, and have submarines literally 25 to 90 miles off the coast of Florida. So we have literally warships of an adversarial relationship sitting 25 to 90 miles, just depending on the distance of where they're docked. 25 miles, some of them are in the sea, 90 miles of where they're docked in Cuba off our coast, away from U.S. soil. But we're still trying to fight a war that's thousands of miles away. We actually just came out and said that we are fixing to start working on drones, catastrophic drones, so we can use them in strikes just in case China goes towards Taiwan. So again, our focus is thousands of miles away, while we have 25 to 90 miles away Russian warships sitting off the coast of Florida. And this is no joke. This is actually doing drills, shooting missiles, and we're worried about thousands of miles away. That's not killing the border. That is literally seeing an uptick. Governor Abbott said that we're seeing more crossings than we've ever seen. So honestly, I want to say this for the record. That's why, again, I like Abbott, but I don't think he's doing what he should be doing for his state. They've done a big Texas push where they're trying to, succeed from the nation and all. I don't believe that's ever going to work, because I believe the Republicans in Texas are like a lot of other Republicans in a lot of these other states. They have no backbone. Truly, Texas should handle the border better than they're doing, but it's not their position. It is the United States. But when the United States doesn't do it, that's one thing I got to give Florida and DeSantis. He has stepped up to the plate. I'd like to see Abbott do the same thing. But I digress. We're fighting that war over there, pouring billions. We just sent another check for several billions of dollars to Zelensky. There was a documentary that was just released and kind of released on Twitter about where that money's actually going. It would surprise you. I think Epic Times put it out. So that's the first headline. We're worried about thousands of miles away for quote unquote sovereignty of the United States and the freedoms of the United States, while we're allowing people to come into our country via the southern border, which are a lot of foreign nationals. And then we have Russian warships sitting 25 to 90 miles off our coast. Now we're warning Russia, hey, you better get out of our waters. You better get away from our coast. Isn't it funny how we're saying that to them? And we're literally doing the same thing in Ukraine. Kind of unique. You don't believe we're going to put ourselves in a World War III? Look at this. Our F-16s that we delivered to Ukraine, Ukraine was smart, and they know how to play this. NATO knows how to play this. They put them back in a NATO country after Russia said they were going to bomb them. So if Russia starts bombing our F-16s that Ukraine owns, they've put them in a NATO country. So it looks like Russia is bombing a NATO country, which would involve all NATO. Isn't that funny? It's amazing. We're worried about the wars over there because the politicians get fatted pockets. All the while, our sovereignty and our freedom is more at risk now with this new Cold War with Russian warships and our invasion at the southern border. Second story of today. Biden's family allegedly received $18 million from foreign sources. Since Biden was vice president of the United States, his family has a shell company that has been raised with money coming from several places. Listen to this. $7.3 million from China, $4 million from Ukraine. I wonder why he supports that Ukraine so much. $3.5 from Russia. That's why at one time Putin said he'd rather Biden win than Trump. $1 million from Romania, $1 million from Panama, $142,000 from Kazakhstan. $1 million other payments have been from other foreign entities, added all up. So $18 million has been given to the vice president now, of course, and his family. We've done nothing. We've done nothing to stop these politicians from getting foreign money. Here's our president. All the while, we are literally trying to jail a man who paid $130,000, allegedly, if he did or not, of his own money to a situation he shouldn't have put himself in. Agreeable. It's his own money. So Trump has given $130,000 and spent millions of dollars defending himself in court, while Biden has received $18 million, allegedly, from these countries. Biden got more from Kazakhstan than Trump spent on Stormy. So here's the double standard. Don't let this Biden trial with Hunter give you any side that the DOJ is honest. This was the easiest trial and the less likely to actually cause a problem for Biden and for Hunter than any other thing that he's actually been actually caught with and actually been accused of. So this is a way to make Trump look weak, to make the DOJ look like they're neutral all the while. But here's the truth. Biden, he's been taking money from foreign governments. What's amazing is all we heard for 3 years is that Trump was an agent of another nation. No proof of it. But now there's proof coming out that Biden took a lot of money, including Russia, the one that they said that Trump had ties to. There's no funds funneling to Trump, but there's a lot funneling to Biden. This is something we need to keep an eye on because that shows who you work for. You know, when we're an employee of a company, what do? We work for who pays us. You think politicians do the same thing? And lastly, you know you worried about that last pandemic. But here's the new report. Yep, the bird flu. It is definitely a pretext for our food supply and the way that government can control what you eat, what you grow, and how you grow it. Scotland just came out with a policy where it will want you to register all your livestock, all your birds, all your chickens, all your gardens by the middle of this year. I think it's July 24. If you don't, you are threatened with prison, fines, and losing everything the government can take from you. Because they want to make sure they're in control of this bird flu. Actually, what they're trying to do is actually control you. Listen to this. There's a new story that came out in America. Backyard chicken coops could be the downfall of the farming industry. It could be the one way the bird flu spreads across America. Experts say that it is the homestead, the farm, the local backyard chickenry. They're the ones causing the problems, and they're the ones that's going to cause the next pandemic. So we got a law over in Scotland stating that you have to register your gardens, your chickens, your livestock. This is why I'm against buying registered animals now. I used to say this was a good thing. I don't, because the more you quote unquote register these animals because you want this nice breed, this nice genetic makeup, this, you want the best quality. Actually what you're doing is you're just giving your information to the government and to all these registries. People are like, oh, that happened in Scotland. Now all of a sudden you're starting to hear that still small voice where those experts, no one knows what the studies show, no one knows who the experts are, but the experts say that truthfully, the backyard bird keeping, the chickens that are raised on the backyard, in the backyards of most Americans, they could be the reason for the pandemic to spread because their bad policies of raising animals. How they raise their food could be bad. This is the start of them trying to get your gardens, the start of them trying to shut you down from being independent and sustainable. This is a big deal. You know why? Because just what, 50, 60, 70 years ago, most people were living off farms, living off homesteads, living off neighbors who raised other animals. They would bring the milk, the butter, the dairy, the eggs, all that to each other. They'd worked with the local butcher who worked with the local farm, and then the government backed it. You can see reports in old newspapers where in the Depression and World War II and all that time where the government was saying, look, you need to think about raising gardens, helping your neighbor out. You need to raise your own food, to be more independent, to save money, but not only that, to be sustainable. So you're not relying on the government to take care of you. You need backyard chickens. That's a totally different way of looking at it now when the government's saying, no, we're going to regulate it all. And I don't know if you need to raise your own food. Why do they not want you to be independent, sustainable, and actually strong? You know, when we raise our own food, we're healthy. You know, when we're actually eating the blueberries that you're sitting next to and eating the plums and eating the squash and eating the eggs and eating the beef, when you start eating that holistically, your body does better things. You're healthier. You're not lazy, not lackadaisical. You're not overweight. You're not obese. You're actually doing things to make yourself more sustainable and independent. Well, the government doesn't want that. So in steps what they call the pandemic with wings, the more dangerous pandemic. It could happen because of your backyard chickens. So we need to do like the rest of the places and start registering them. We need to find out more information about your backyard chicken situation because it could be the cause of the next pandemic. You know what's so unique? Go back and do your research. When did they start building the thing in the arm for the bird flu? It was about a year or two ago, wasn't it? Way before we worried about this. Isn't that unique? Isn't that coincidental? All right, guys, let me know your thoughts. The point of today's video was showing you not only the double standards, but showing you the oxymoron and really the moronic ways of our leadership. They say one thing, but they do another. They're worried about the wars and the freedoms of America, but there's actually warships and an invasion happening close to our border, close to the U.S. soil with these warships. We're telling you to grow and take care of your family just a few generations ago, but now we're telling you don't do any of that because we want you to depend on the government. It shows the government has grown way too much. And then we're trying to, again, go after somebody about trumped up charges that we're worried about what he paid of his own money because we're worried that it was not put on the Election Commission statement, the Board of Ethics statement, basically, dealing with his, no one even can tell you exactly what law he actually broke other than he broke election laws. But no one actually knows what it is. It's a misdemeanor. While New York is letting criminals go, we want to try to trump up these charges. But we have a president who is making $400,000, $500,000 as the president here, but he's actually making $18 million for other governments. So does that mean he actually works for the American people or for foreign governments? Something to think about. Guys, let me know your thoughts. These are very important stories that you need to pay attention to. It's your food system, your safety and security, and actually who is running your country. These things are the utmost important. I'll be honest with you. Again, you can say all you want to about Trump, but he actually did not take a paycheck. He used his own money to fund, and he worked for the American people. We had civility, we had stability, and we didn't have threats of war, and our inflation was way down. We didn't have the problems. He wasn't perfect, by no means. But you cannot tell me the last 3 years have done good for your economy, for your personal economy, that you're better off. You can't say that, especially when this leader's not working for you. Let me know your thoughts. God bless.
You and I, let us run